First up, we have Conor Dowling. Conor is a Programme Manager with Smart Sandyford. He's a postdoc researcher working on smart cities research. As the Smart Programme Manager, Conor's primary focus is on researching alternative sustainable mobility options with the aim of promoting economic growth and improving the quality of life in the district. The Smart Sandyford programme is a partnership between Enable Trinity College Dublin, Dún County Council and Smart Sandyford Business District under the Smart Dublin programme. So I'm delighted to welcome Conor Dowling.
Great stuff. Thanks, Conor. I was listening yesterday, and it's really a pleasure to be part of this event. Really great start yesterday, and looking forward to more of the exciting speakers during the week. I suppose further to Jamie's overview of the Smart Dublin talks, I'll be talking today about specifically what the Smart Sandyford district is doing and the work we've been doing over the last year. And I think what Sarah said about the rate of change of technology has led to this Smart Sandyford program. I'm one of those people who actually ditched the wallet and just use my phone now. So it really is a rapid change. But the Smart Sandyford program and its impact on the district has seen a great success over its first year. And really what it's all about is collaboration. Like you hit on the importance of industry and academia and that wealth of talent in and around Sandyford. And that really is exemplified by our work in Smart Sandyford. So we work with obviously the companies in the Sandyford district, but we also have our other partners in Dún who are government or local municipality partner, and then the wider academic partners. So Enable are the lead there, and that are mainly comprised of academics in Trinity College Dublin, but we have a huge amount of academics under that Enable umbrella from around the country. UCD you mentioned, and they all work together primarily on mobility projects in Sandyford, but a huge wide range of sustainability, resilience, energy retrofit are all coming in under the program as well. And I think it's important to mention there in the bottom right, you can see the civil society and the importance of having that inclusion of the local companies, the local residents in Sandyford within everything we do. So bringing all those different partners together is really the key role of Smart Sandyford and facilitating collaboration between research in academia, the local government and their work on smarter travel in recent days and months, and indeed local business interests to facilitate the travel and people getting to work, but also business getting done in Sandyford. And I think we can talk about how business is important or academia, but what it always comes down to is having the citizen as the focus, or in this case, the employee for the Sandyford Business District. And that's reflected in our work. We have ongoing consultations prior to the formation of the Smart Sandyford program. There are actually a number of consultations in summer 2019 where the local companies and local employees were asked, what are your key challenges? And those challenges, which were primarily around mobility for Sandyford, are what we aim to address through our research or other projects with the local municipality and with the local companies. And when you look at Sandyford, and we've already hit on the great number of companies in the area, you have Vodafone, MasterCard, Microsoft, Facebook, the list goes on and on. But it's not just those big companies either. Within that small, relatively small 2 kilometre squared area, there's a huge amount of industry going on and a number of smart city projects. You can see on the top of the map there, we have the Lewis line, we have the M50 below. And working on the mobility, I think, while it's obviously, further to Sarah's point, an extremely important destination in its own right, but on the map, it's actually almost the doorway to Dublin. And that's really important from a mobility point of view and what our projects work to achieve. I've mentioned some of those bigger companies, but there are actually 1,000 companies in the district, and we work with everything from small to the larger companies on various different project types. Some of the smaller companies are able to come to us with maybe their fledgling ideas or new sensors, new research ideas that they're looking to trial, and we can roll those out across the district and then look to help those get to the next stage from going from research to actual real world practical innovation. There are also 5,000 residents in the district. We always talk about it as the business district, but more and more we're seeing a mixture of uses. A number of the new apartment blocks have businesses on the bottom floor, offices on the next couple of floors, and then residential on the top of those floors. So there's a much more of a mixed use, and I think that's reflected in some of the work we're doing in the project. And then there are also the 30,000 employees in the district. So that's a huge number of people in a relatively small geographic space. And that means we can actually trial things on that based on that density of people coming into the district each day. And that's really important from the mobility in the area, looking at the M50 again, how cars are interacting, both going into the district and passing through to commute, but also demand for other public services such as the Lewis and cycling infrastructure and that kind of thing. So we're looking at how to help those employees and really look at who these employees are. What are the demographics? I think in the wider Dún Laoghaire area, we have one of the older populations in Ireland, whereas in the district itself, we have a younger professional working population who we kind of target in terms of maybe more orientated at cycling and active travel that they might be more interested in. I mentioned we launched this year, and it was fantastic that Microsoft in Sandyford HQ was able to host us, and we got off to a really great start. But it was actually the following day that the first case of COVID hit in Ireland. So that really changed what our program of work was going to look like for the year, and had a massive impact on where our focus could be and restrain some things. But in the end, there was a bit of a silver lining in that we were able to look at things in a different way. So one of those projects was a planned e-bike trial with a company called Moby. And while that trial was supposed to go ahead in spring, we worked with Moby to use the mobility hub bikes from Dún Laoghaire Down County Council and their own e-bike fleet to provide frontline staff across local hospitals and nursing homes with a new way of traveling to work when public transport was at a reduced rate. The mobility hub in Dún Laoghaire, Rathdown, for example, has Nissan Leaf cars, e-bikes, normal pedal bikes that allow staff, maybe they don't need to take the car to work every single day. There's an option for them to travel using public transport. And then if an architect or a planner has to go out on a day trip, they can use the available travel options that are there for them. And part of what we're doing in Sandyford now is discussing with local companies the feasibility of private mobility hubs for the district, and looking at how those would work, obviously, when more employees are working in the office in a post-COVID world. Additionally, then, we had planned a number of consultations with the local companies and local employees to find out a little bit more of, again, looking at their challenges, but also our projects, the impacts they're having on their lives, and what further future projects we should be looking at. So we weren't able to do those consultations in person. So we shifted a little bit and did a webinar series trying to boost the profile of the program and showing here's some of the topics that we're looking at and maybe get in touch. And what actually happened was a lot more people got informed than we could have ever done in person. And we actually reached a wider audience and got a lot more feedback from that, which was really positive. I think while I talk about the importance of the individual, a lot of the work we do is around using data to support those people. So what that actually means or looks like is using different types of sensors around the Sandyford area to get data on everything from air quality, the transport, the congestion or lack thereof, the numbers of people cycling, energy use, you name it, there's a sensor for it. So we're looking at what sorts of sensors are needed and how we roll them out. An example of this is the We Move project that we're involved with led by Francesco Pila and UCD. And we're looking to use citizen science, which is where we give sensors to individuals who live or work in the district, and they're able to put the sensors up in their office facing out onto the road, and they are actively involved then in the data collection of what's the level of traffic in the area. We can see the hotspots and then get in touch with the council and work with the council to solve the various road issues that there may be. We can also monitor if there's a shift in the level of traffic in the district, and as people come back from work, we'll be able to see, oh, okay, more people are using their bikes than before, or are they staying in their car? Are they using public transport? And all of that, this data builds up a picture that we're then able to make informed decisions based on. I think, to add another layer, we have the traffic sensors, then we have the air quality sensors as well, and we're able to see, okay, this level of increase in the volume of cars in the district has this impact on air quality in the district, and we're able to see the level of matching there, or what the impact both of those are having. Further on the mobility side, again, we did a project with our local company Access Earth, who are looking at their goal really is to look at the accessibility of the whole of the country. But the project in Sandyford that they worked on was to look at how many wheelchair or accessible parking spots there are available, both publicly and privately. I think Ireland isn't probably known for being the most accessible place in Europe, but that's something we're looking at, and how to improve that, working with local companies like Access Earth, and then giving that data to the researchers in Enable and Trinity, who can then turn data into useful information and give it to the decision makers, which in turn impacts on the local businesses, local employees to benefit the district. This specifically in this project, the Access Earth team trained a codifier, which is a computer program that's able to analyze satellite imagery. They were using European Space Agency satellite images that photographed the entire district within a couple of minutes. And then once the codifier was trained, they were able to, within a matter of minutes, monitor and give feedback on the entire district in terms of what was available. So once you go through that training process using the satellite and the codifier, you can then apply that same technology to almost any challenge you have across a city. And so that feeds back, what the learnings from Sandyford feed back into what we're doing in terms of the wider research, but also for the local government as well. I think I mentioned at the start the importance of stakeholder engagement, and this is our testbed process that each and every one of our projects goes through. So it's a relatively simple project funnel, and you can see we explore with companies, different individuals, plan how this can work. Then we get to the contract and MOU stage before the actual launch and the project management itself starts. So as the projects go through that, you can see at the bottom there, the stakeholder engagement piece is absolutely critical. So not only do we consult with the local business interests on the types of projects that we're selecting, we also go through that entire process with them so that they're able to give the feedback and it works for the local employees and local companies. At the end of the projects, then we can look, okay, was this a successful trial? Should we go and scale this as a successful project that can work for either all of Sandyford, all of Dún Laoghaire, or indeed the greater Dublin region? Does it need revision? Do we need to go to a phase 2 of the same project to just iron out some of those tweaks? Or, some projects just simply don't work, but there are always learnings that we can take into the next project then going forward. I think some of the, our projects to date, just with everything that's going on with COVID, might have been a little bit more academic, but we're looking going forward to have actual physical infrastructure on the ground. We're working with the NTA, TII, Dublin Bus to look at what the demands are for different services in the district. Jamie mentioned MaaS, or mobility as a service, which is where rather than having maybe a dedicated bus lane going through the district or from Bray or Tala to Sandyford, you might have on-demand, almost shuttle bus type vehicles that could bring people, say, to drop off their kids at school and then to the district, which would save them having to use their own personal car and reduce the level of private cars in the district. That's just one small example, but we're also looking at, again, working with Dún Laoghaire, that modal shift to more active travel as a priority. And that obviously has the health and environmental benefit, but also reduces the number of cars on the road. So using bikes. And I think, following our research into the different types of bike users and the demand for different bike services, it was found that you're going to have 1% of people are going to cycle, rain, hail, or shine, over hills, underwater, you name it, they'll cycle. The 9%, then 9% of the top 10% will cycle pretty much no matter what, within reason. But then the following 60%, or the follower group, will only cycle if they're made feel safe, if there's the infrastructure provided and they're separated from the vehicle traffic. So we've seen that done really well across Dún Laoghaire. I think Blackrock is a really good example of where you have segregated bike lanes, and hopefully we'll see more of that coming to Sandyford in the next year. Project, we're looking at a collaboration at the moment for cyclocks, or lockers for more expensive bikes, maybe, that people are investing in e-bikes or personal e-bikes. They're not looking to park these at your normal public bike stands where they could be stolen or damaged or anything. So we need to provide the infrastructure like the lockers in the image there, to give those people the option so that they can cycle. And then, of course, there's the e-scooter question. So we're looking at the different types of trial that could be done within the current legislation, and how to progress legislation with the Department of Transport and the local government as well. All of these different projects require a network or connectivity in the background to support the level of data that we're talking about, traveling over different network types. We're really lucky in Sandyford in that we, as a business district, is probably one of the most connected places in the country. We are Vodafone have their headquarters there. They've rolled out a nationwide NB-IoT network. Sigfox is a nationwide IoT network. Cellnex is a local telco infrastructure provider who are rolling out a LoRa network in the district. And all of these technologies are different types of Internet of Things networks that allow these small devices, your bike, your scooter, your package as it's being delivered, to communicate and give you real-time data on what's happening in the district, that businesses or government can react and be informed so that they can make the right decisions on projects or to help people in the way that's needed. I highlighted already the different sensor types, from air quality, transport, energy monitoring, and these are all ongoing and being deployed at the moment. But if there are challenges for people in Sandyford, we'd really like to hear what's going on, what their challenges are, and how we can help roll out new sensor types. And beyond just looking at sensors and IoT, it all sounds very technical. I think it's important that for the program we have a real impact that people can visibly see as well. So it goes beyond just having a connectivity piece. You actually have to have the physical piece as well. We're working very closely. Obviously, Sandyford BID, or the Sandyford Business District, is a partner on the Smart Sandyford program. And we're working directly with them on their placemaking plan, which is really, it's gone through phase 1 now and going into phase 2 to really look at how we can work to improve the district and make it a better place, both for the employees, residents, but also for visitors as well. We have a number of hotels in the district. I think the Beacon Hospital gets something like 100,000 visitors every single year. We also have local GAA clubs. Nave Olaf have about 1,000 kids and parents coming every single weekend. So when you have that number of people coming to a district, you have to make it an area that they want to stay and visit. So that goes beyond just having a nice square like we have in the Beacon already, but also providing the key infrastructure that will allow them to travel to the district in a safe and sustainable way, such as cycling, and making it a place that they want to stay. All of this, again, will help local businesses. They'll hang around for their lunch, for a coffee, and that'll drive local business as well. So you can see how all of these plans come together for the betterment of the district as well. I've included this slide. It's actually from before my time, so I can't take credit for it. But MasterCard are partnered with Smart Dublin on the the Dublin Economic Monitor, which is kind of the A grade for what we're aiming for in Smart Sandyford in terms of gathering data, but going beyond just saying, here's our data, have a look. It's actually turning data into usable information that everybody in the area, in Sandyford or indeed Dublin, can benefit from. And I think that's a hugely important piece for any sort of smart district, such as Smart Sandyford or indeed local government or research, that we make things accessible, because all of these great projects, they sound fantastic, but unless you have that collaboration and inform people of what's going on and get the interaction between those academic, local government and industry partners, you're not going to be able to benefit the end user, the individual employee or the individual citizen. And I think that's the piece we really have to aim for. And, we're working on it, but we can always do better. But I think that's everything from me at the moment, and I'm really excited to work with everybody in Smart Sandyford and Sandyford Business District. But if there are local companies who are looking to promote their own solutions or trial new things, we're always open to hearing new ideas and excited to work with people in Sandyford. Thank you very much.